when is the right time for a show to end? Is it better to end while on top or keep driving until the wheels fall off? At some point, all good things must come to an end. So when is the right time to take the old girl out back?
All right, out back.
No, Ma. Yeller's my dog. I'll do it.
Let's take a look at two staples in television history for context. Seinfeld arguably changed the landscape of television sitcoms as we know it during its 9-season run on NBC, and has truly left a remarkable stamp on television history. The end of season 12 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia raised a lot of questions about the future of the series. Spoiler alert, the season finale saw Dennis seemingly leave the bar and gang behind to fulfill his duties as a father. It made people question, what is the future of Always Sunny? What would the show look like without Dennis? And what if the quality of the show diminishes? So why compare Always Sunny with Seinfeld? We choose these two shows because the general makeup of what makes them unique is similar. And while Always Sunny has what could be described as an uncertain future in terms of its end, Seinfeld provides us with, let's call it a guideline, for a successful and similar show wrapping up. Whether you love these shows or hate them, there is always bound to be some bias and strong opinions on how we analyze this kind of thing. But we're going to try to break it down and provide some context to analyze a show's lifespan, the factors that contribute to success, and when the right time to end a show might be.
What is this? What?
What are we doing? What in God's name are we doing?
What?
What kind of lives are these? We're like children. We're not men.
No, we're not. We're not men.
I'm out there, Jerry, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Seinfeld's IMDb user rating at the time of this recording is 8.9. Its top 1,000 voter rating is 8.1, with 527 of those top 1,000 having voted on the series, if that number holds any extra value to you. Seinfeld originally aired to what we'll delicately call humble viewership numbers. Its first 3 seasons rarely broke the 20 million mark in terms of viewership, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it ranked fairly average compared to other network TV shows during its early stages. In season 4, episode 56, the episode entitled The Shoes saw viewership over 26 million, marking the highest viewer count in the show's run up to that point.
I don't understand. Why is this woman talking about my shoes? Why are my shoes a topic of conversation?
The next episode had over 28 million viewers, and after that, no new episode of Seinfeld dropped below 20 million viewers, and the success of the show continued to climb. Adding to that, the reviews and ratings of Seinfeld remained strong throughout the series, even improving and climbing leading up to the final season. Which brings us to that final season and the show finale. For better or worse, a lot of shows are judged on that finale. How it all comes to an end puts everything into perspective and provides resolution for fans of a beloved show. Botch that, and it threatens to tear apart the fabric of what makes a whole series great. The series finale of Seinfeld has infamously ended up on many worst finales of all time lists. Business Insider put it on the 12 worst TV series finales of all time, and USA Today ranked it second worst on its list, the 10 best and 5 worst TV series finales of all time. Its poor reception comes from the principle of the finale itself in terms of what it means for the characters and the fans that have grown attached to the gang. Obviously, spoiler alert, deemed as bad Samaritans through a trial, the group is incarcerated. So a series built on a firm foundation based on character spends its finale breaking down its characters. Needless to say, it didn't sit well with some fans, but Seinfeld lives on in the hearts of those who love the show. It seems that the people who dislike the ending are fine just kind of pretending it never happened. Is that the right way to end a show? Seinfeld exists in the space where individual episodes are enjoyable on their own, regardless of order or understanding of plot context. Randomly picking an episode of Seinfeld out of a hat still produces a great viewing experience. It's not like bombing the finale takes any of those qualities away from the show. For comparison, How I Met Your Mother became a show that focused on character development and plot resolution. Botching the finale on a program based on fan attachment to character development absolutely destroys the culmination of that story. Seinfeld is lucky by comparison. So having a bad finale to Seinfeld hurts it less than a bad finale for shows that seem more plot and development focused. So what led to the creators of Seinfeld calling it quits? It doesn't seem based on the numbers that Seinfeld was losing any steam. A large contributor to the decision of wrapping up Seinfeld had to be the exit of executive producer Larry David. Much of the plot and character of the show was based on David and his life experiences. So much of what made Seinfeld what it was came from him. That's not to be said that it would have fallen apart without him, but one could argue that he generated so much of the show's spirit. Here's Larry David in the documentary Seinfeld, How It Began, expressing some of the anxiety and stress that came along with producing the show.
This time, and I am dead honest here, real, actual tears out of my eyes, crying. I cried on my bed, crying at the prospect of coming up with 22 more of these things. How in God's name is that gonna happen?
On Mark Maron's WTF podcast, in an interview with Jason Alexander, who played George, he talks about the decision to end the show and David's departure.
Season 8, we kind of went, yeah. And season 9, we didn't go into 9 knowing it was going to be the end.
Yeah.
It was an inkling. But around Christmas, he went, I'm thinking we're done, guys. And none of us went, oh, no. We all went, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Not because it wasn't funny. I mean, the writers were glorious. They could have been funny forever.
Why did Larry
You couldn't
go?
surprise anybody anymore. You know what these characters are going to do. What are we doing, Christian? You'd have to ask Larry ultimately why he left.
These insights from those involved can be more meaningful than the numbers. In the case of Seinfeld, it didn't seem to necessarily be about the decline in positive reviews or loss of viewership, but instead was about the maintenance of quality content. Perhaps it had more to do with the strain of producing the content, but it's safe to say that the decision to call it quits revolved around knowing when enough was enough. Take all of the praise and millions of viewers, and in the end, the quality stood out to them and took precedence.
Dead?
I'm so sorry, George.
Yeah, me too.
Poor Lily.
This is so great. And having those other people laugh tells me when I should laugh.
That's the
I love that.
The user rating for Always Sunny at the time of recording is 8.8, with the top 1,000 voters review sitting at 7.0 with 348 reviews. Here's why I take these reviews with a grain of salt. It's this fishtail here at the bottom of the chart. The number of one-star reviews is ridiculous. You might absolutely hate Always Sunny, but a 1? There's some unwatchable crap out there. Even if you think it's terrible, go with a 3 or a 4. At least Always Sunny has structure and well-read dialogue.
Charlie, don't eat chalk.
Well, it settles my stomach. My stomach's a little...
If your stomach hurts, eat a Tums.
What's the difference?
One is chalk!
Well, I'm not wasting Tums. Tums is very good to draw with.
Regardless, we can take this information and gain a lot of insight from just that. This is a beloved show. Its target audience is way more specific than, let's say, a Seinfeld, but it gives it an edge that appeals to an audience looking for a more mature experience with fewer boundaries. There are some notable differences that will factor into how we analyze this show. The Nielsen ratings compared to Seinfeld are humbling, but let's be fair. Always Sunny began its life on FX, a channel one would traditionally access through cable or satellite packages. That will automatically hurt viewership when comparing your channel to the big four: ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC, which just so happened to house Seinfeld. You couldn't follow up Family Feud with
Fetish shit! I like to bind, I like to be bound.
and lead into your local news with Always Sunny on network Bunny Ears Television. Always Sunny hit its peak with the season 7 premiere in September of 2011 with 2.28 million for Frank's Pretty Woman. After looking at Seinfeld, that looks bad. That's like 5 times worse than Seinfeld's worst episode premiere. But let's be fair, traditional TV viewership is down. There's no shortage of articles analyzing why and how this is happening. But just look at the Nielsen ratings of the top shows. The highest rated shows every year since Nielsen's inception has had a fairly steady decline. We could argue that the television market is more diverse and has viewership more spread out, but data suggests that media consumption has changed significantly. Simply looking at the viewership data tells us very little about the state of this show in comparison to looking at the numbers for Seinfeld's run on NBC. I don't know about all of you, but I watch Always Sunny and most of my shows through sources like Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon, and I have a hunch most of you do too. So measuring raw Nielsen data misses much of what is important to account for. There was a notable drop in viewership between Season 8 and 9. Season 9 saw Sunny move from FX to FXX.
I don't even know if they realize we're still making a show over there.
This is on FXX.
Yeah.
That's one X down from FX.
There's an additional X now, and nobody knows where we are. And
one more X, and it's all porno.
they didn't. Yeah, exactly. And they didn't know we won a major award, so they don't know what we're doing. You know.
The network didn't know either?
No. I mean, or if they did,
they didn't care.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
You know. I'm calling them out, which I shouldn't do, because they've done a great job with the show. Don't cancel it.
Would they cancel Always Sunny? All things considered, the show has probably brought a considerable amount of customers to the premium FXX channel, which equates to more pound-for-pound revenue for the network. Always Sunny likely holds significant weight and certainly meaningful revenue for the company. Maybe my assumptions regarding the alternate revenue that the show brings in are way off. But of all of the shows available through FXX and FX Plus, Sunny stands out to me, and I believe it to be indicative of its weight in their lineup. FX initially took on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as low-risk, low-cost programming, and that move absolutely paid off for the network. Rob McElhenney, Glenn Howerton, and Charlie Day were paid $1 million split between them to produce, write, and act for the first season. By season 8, the trio was splitting $40 million. This shows a measure of value and weight that the network has seen in the show and its producers. It also kicked off a similar strategy for FX moving forward with shows like The League, Louie, and Archer. So this tells us that it's unlikely they would cancel because it has a low-cost, high-income value, and that Sunny represents high-freedom, low-budget shows that have started proving successful in the television comedy market. So the decision to call it quits will likely be one of two things: a creative decision to wrap things up, or an event that causes the inability to reasonably continue. God forbid one of the main actors dies in real life. Continuing on with the show would not only be very difficult, but probably not the same in terms of quality maintenance. A show-ending event might also take the shape of something like a Roseanne tweet or something similar. An individual pivotal to the show's success takes a public misstep and is essentially made to step down due to public scorn. It is eminently desirable for a show to choose when and how to end. Being able to creatively decide to finish a series on your own terms will be way more likely to please fans and keep your desired reputation intact. The reality is that Always Sunny will have to end someday, and there are some lessons to be learned on how to do that from Seinfeld. Seinfeld probably could have stayed on the air years after they decided to call it quits. If they really wanted to, they could have kept the machine going. New writers could keep coming in, directors and producers could be replaced, and the actors could keep things going as long as they were willing and able. But as we saw, Seinfeld is an example of a show that ended while they were on top. They were #1 in the Nielsen ratings for their final seasons, and the quality of the show was still high. And I think that, to me, is what makes the decision they made to end the show when they did absolutely legendary. And regardless of the finale itself, provides an absolutely meaningful exit for the show. It's possible that we might not even hold Seinfeld in such high regard had it continued on past its prime. The audience getting sick of a show or bored by it while it trudges on happens all the time. And god damn it, I don't want that to happen to Always Sunny. At the same time, I don't want it to end. I love seeing new episodes and have those fresh new experiences, but I would rather have the show end while I'm still wanting more than wondering when they're finally gonna end this thing.
Sometimes, that is better.
What Seinfeld has taught me is that by preserving the creative integrity of a program, and by prioritizing quality, a show can end, but never really die. I don't want It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to lose any of the joy it brings me right now. I don't want it to get to the point where I start to care less about its integrity. I'm not saying it should stop after this season or the next, but I believe that beginning the process of considering a final season for the creators and us as fans to wind down a show that has broken barriers and changed the way we think and feel about sitcoms will ensure that it doesn't become just another TV show, but remains impactful. Just like Seinfeld has stood the test of time and become iconic for a generation, I believe Always Sunny can stay amazing and be our Seinfeld moving on through generations to come. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please tell us your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Was the timing right for Seinfeld to end? Could they or should they have kept going? When do you think is the right time for Sunny to end? Do you believe it's past its prime? Let us know. If you enjoyed the video, we'd love it if you left us a like. And we'll give you our kidneys if you subscribe.